All right, hey, how's it going? Welcome. And I would like to jump right in with some contract versus non-contract agreements, best practices, what we do, what we suggest you do, and even at the end, if I can't persuade you to use a contract or a membership agreement, I'm going to give you a couple of tips and hints at the end there that's going to help you even if you are using a month-to-month kind of agreement. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a doctor. I did stay at the Holiday Inn, so don't sue me, bro. But we are talking contracts and non-contracts. So first off, what's the difference, right? Most people typically will do a 3-month, 6-month, 12-month contract. Maybe it's 12-month, 24, 18-month, or a 36-month. Or a lot of people say like, oh, I don't have a contract, but they do have a month-to-month agreement with maybe like a 30-day cancellation policy. So hate to tell you, but you do have a contract. That's a contract. If you're signing something, they're signing something, it's an agreement that, that's the idea of the contract, right? So we are in a service-based industry. We are in a service-based profession, and our business model needs recurring revenue, right? So we want to secure as much of that recurring revenue as we can. So what are those strategies? What are those practices that are going to allow us to have predictable income, which we want in a recurring model? And then, what basically does that contract mean, or what does that contract not mean? But we had a great conversation yesterday, or it was this morning, I can't remember, about contracts, whether people had them, what they were, all of those things. So I want to talk a little bit about what is a contract and what it's not. People think of contracts as like, man, that's the devil's work. It's not the devil's work, right? It's not shady to have a contract. It's not, dishonest or anything like that. You don't have to try to scam people with a contract. Like if it's very clear English, people can understand it. You don't have to put a bunch of crazy words in there. We're not using these to sue people, to put them in collections, any of that kind of stuff. Right? We want them to be bought in, right? So all it really is going to do, these contracts, is basically give us a clear understanding, definition of roles and responsibilities on the behalf of the customer and the behalf of us, right? So again, it's not shady, it's not dishonest, it's not crazy tactics or anything like that. It's just a time value of money. If someone is going to stick with me a long time, they're going to get a better discounted rate, right? They're going to get a better rate than someone that's only going to be there for a month. They also need to be bought into the program, just like raising those prices on people and having a high price. People are more bought in. People are more apt to give more when you're in a high price, and then when you're in a contract, because now they're bought in. They're not like, oh, I'm just going to take the month off. We're going to go try, sewing. We're going to go do this or that. Like, no, they know that they've agreed to a contract. They know that they've agreed to an agreement with you. You're going to provide that service. They're going to provide that service, right? It's a business. Couple of the pros, right? Reasons that we want to have that contract in place. In our contract, we typically just do a 12-month membership. We call it our Blue Belt agreement, right? So we're selling that on a program base. Not saying that someone's going to get a Blue Belt in 12 months. It's just saying like, hey, you're going to be working towards your Blue Belt. If it's a kid, it's a Gray Belt program, right? Maybe if it's a fat loss, fitness kickboxing, maybe you're doing an accelerated fat plan or an extended fat loss plan, right? So name those things. But again, predictable income, right? That's going to be a really big pro of having a contract. I know that over the next 6 months, over the next year, I know that I have so many people that are in this facility. I know that so many people are going to be coming to the gym. I know that I need to have this much staff in place. I know that I need to have a facility of this size because, again, I have predictable income. I have a predictable student base. When we're on a month-to-month agreement, if I don't have some kind of a way in that knowing how long they're going to stay, 30-day, 60-day cancellation policy, people can literally call up, cancel their membership. Now I have no predictability in my business, right? So that time, money, right? Again, that time, money value. The more time someone is willing to invest in my business, the better deal I'm going to give them. So if they're doing a 1-year program, they're going to pay less than someone that's only going to be there month to month. I don't even offer month to month programs. We have a really easy way for people to get into our program. We do a 6-week program. From there, we sell them into our 1-year Blue Belt membership. Works really, really well. They get a nice taste of our environment. We get a nice taste of them as a person. If it works, a good relationship, we want them to stick around. If it doesn't, cool, no hard feelings. And we let them go, right? So again, time value of money. If someone's willing to invest more time, I'm going to give them a lower rate. They are committing to that time. I am committing to keeping my business open, right? It just goes back to business practices. If I go buy a car, and I don't want my car anymore, I just don't not pay my car payment, right? They're going to come take that car away. We're making an agreement, we're paying that. Most of the time, when you do have an agreement of some sort, it makes you look like an actual business, right? If it's kind of like fly by night, you don't have these business practices in place, people can typically tell that you're not a good business person, right? You're not doing the things that need to be done to have a successful business for a long time. They also will start to look at you and say oh, well, this guy doesn't even use contracts. I know I can wheel and deal with him. He's just some local guy. I don't need to pay him full price. They don't do that when they go to the car place, right? They don't do that when they sign a lease for a facility. Those are the things that we're putting on the line, right? So we want to also, most landlords aren't going to let you just do a month-to-month agreement. They're going to do a long-term 1-year lease, 3-year lease, 4-year lease. You're expected to do that as a business. Now, on the other side, you should expect that same type of responsibility from your clients. So again, more time, more money. They should want to invest that time because they want to get better, get the result, whatever it is that they're looking for, right? So again, the more time that they invest, the more money that they invest, the better result you're typically going to see from that client. They're going to be a better client. They're going to be a better student because they are bought in. They're bought in with their time. They're bought in with their money. And now they're going to be an easier client for you to deal with, right? Again, it's just more professional to have that, right? I know when I go to local businesses, if I'm dealing with somebody that has a contract, right? Again, it's not a shady thing to have a contract. So if I deal with somebody that has a nice contract, that has a nice facility, that has, professional atmosphere, now I start to think okay, these people value their business. These people value the experience that I'm going to get as a customer. I enjoy that. I am not scared to sign a contract because I know that if I sign a contract, I'm saying I'm going to pay for something. I'm going to do this, right? It opts me in more. It buys me in more to that program process. And it tells me that these people are here to stick around. If they're saying month to month, it's probably because they don't know the future, right? They don't know how much they've invested. They don't know what it's going to take to continue that investment, is the way that I look at that. That might be wrong. That might not be how you're doing it as your business. But for me mentally, if it's it's month to month, there's not a lot of professional stuff happening, I'm going to start questioning the ability of that business to actually serve me at a high threshold, right? So I just feel, and most people will feel a contract is a more binding program, and it is a more professional program. And again, probably you're going to get better results at a program like that. Security and commitment on both sides. Again, the customer now says oh, they're willing to put a contract there saying that they're going to be around in a year. I'm willing to sign a contract because I'm saying that I'm willing to be around for a year. I want to learn this. I want to get those results, right? So those are kind of the main things, right? And you can talk about investors, right? So if I wanted to invest and get investors, or if I wanted to get a loan or something like that, the more contracts I have that show the business predictability of that income, the better I'm going to be in getting one of those loans and getting one of those services, right? If I'm going to sell my business, that predictable income is going to increase the value of my business. So what are the cons, right? So what is the con of having that 12-month, 24-month, 36-month contract? a lot of people will say that it's harder to sell that, right? Like, oh, a lot of my clients came from somebody else and they had a contract, so they didn't get signed up with them. They came with me and got signed up with me. Like, yeah, maybe yes, maybe no. Probably they didn't see the value there. Probably they weren't getting the service that they wanted. And that's probably what actually made them change. Or if they didn't buy in that first place, that service or that value wasn't displayed, and they were trying to use that contract as just a way to lock them in because they weren't professional and because they weren't a successful business. And people can see that. But typically, if you don't see that value, the value is not there, then you're not going to buy that contract, right? You're not going to buy that program. So it's not harder to sell if you know how to sell something. Like what we do, we bring them in at a 6-week program. We bring them in at that 6-week offer for that $599. We do that up front for our Warrior program. And then from our Warrior program, we sell them into our membership. And it makes it very easy for us to sell them because they've already seen our product. They already know our professionalism. They already know our service. And now we can very easily sell them into that longer term membership at a discounted rate, which they love because they've already seen the product, right? So again, it goes back to having that offer and that sales process. And if you have those things, then it makes your business more predictable, much easier, right? I know that every time I run one of these offers, I'm going to have 15 to 20 people come in. I'm going to close about 65, 75% of those people. Makes it very easy to predict my income moving forward and through all of those different offers that we have. I heard some people in the comments that we had talking about like, oh, like I don't want people held hostage. If they don't want to be here, they don't have to be here. Like, cool. You don't have to have that hostage relationship with your customers. Those customers are there. If they don't want to be there anymore, they're going to have a conversation with you. They're going to stop paying, whatever. And you can be the good guy. You can let them out of that contract. Like, you don't have to keep them locked in. Like, I've never sued anyone for, not paying us. I've never sent anyone to collections for not paying us. Like, that's our option to enforce or not enforce, right? So we don't enforce that, and we don't push any of those legal avenues that we could. We don't do that because we're good guys. Like I'm not there to sue somebody. I'm not there to collect on them. I'm there to make a commitment to them and have them make a commitment to me, and hopefully we both fulfill on that promise and that service. So again, like you don't have to hold anyone hostage. You can let anyone out of these contracts if you have that in your thing, right? Like you can be the good guy. You don't have to do that. You can lock them in or not lock them in. Again, it goes back to the ethics of you as a person, what you're delivering and what kind of person you are, whether you want to go after someone or not. I recommend not doing that because typically you're in a small area, very easily for people to bash you if you're trying to do bad things to people like that. I don't want someone there that's not interested, but I want people when they do get bought in to be bought in completely. And we see an average of about 4 months, people will stick around even if they are on contract versus not being on contract. So again, it helps that retention, just the mindset level of someone knowing like, I signed a commitment, I'm going to stick it out, or I signed a commitment and I'm going to go for a little bit longer and, debate whether or not I'm coming in and all that stuff. So you don't have to ever hold anyone hostage. Like you can be the bigger person and you can let them out of that situation. You hold the keys to their future. As long as you're a good person, I definitely recommend using a contract model for that business. The other thing, month to month is fine. I'm not going to say that it's not, but I definitely want to put a few restrictions in there, right? So if you do have a month to month contract, you're not ready to jump into a 12-month, 24-month program, anything like that, then what I say is you need to add just a couple easy restrictions to that membership agreement, right? So if you're doing month to month, like that's cool. Have at least 60-day, I recommend, 60 to 90-day cancellation. So like, hey, it's month to month, but I need 60 days, I need 90 days, whatever it is, to close that down, right? It just, again, gives you a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more predictability moving into that next program. So it's like, hey, like it's month to month, but it's a 3-month commitment and then a 3-month commitment and then a 3-month commitment. Like that's very easy to do. That's very low maintenance. That's like any season for any sport that you're going to do anyways. Like people are used to 90 days of something. So 60 to 90 days, I would say have a membership cancellation. So like, hey, you want to get canceled, it's 60 days out. You're going to pay 2 more bills. You can train the whole time. Like, it's all good. Just come in, pay that off, and you're good to go. The other thing that I would also add to that contract, and we do this as part of our black belt retention secrets, have an exit meeting with them, right? So if anybody wants to cancel a membership with us, they actually have to physically come into the gym, talk to us, sit down with us, explain what's going on. And then again, like, now we can be the good guys. Like, oh, cool. Like, yeah, no sweat. Like, we're going to get you set up here. We'll just pay 1 more payment. We'll pay 60 days, whatever it is. Like, we can be flexible, right? If we have a 90-day cancellation policy, but we want to be good guys, we can say, hey, look, just pay 30 days, and then you're free to go, right? So now we look like the good guy. We didn't keep them to that 90-day policy. But what you do on that exit meeting, now you can have a cancellation policy where you have an exit meeting, and that exit meeting is going to be a resell, right? Like, you can try to sit down with them, try to refocus them on their goals, try to refocus them on their mission, what it was that they were there to lose weight, learn self-defense, whatever, fight, whatever that might be. And then you try to resell them. Last year we had one of our guys, Don, had been with us for 10 years doing jiu-jitsu. He was a runner, in and out of the gym a lot, came in for his cancellation meeting, and like, his whole thing was, I just stopped been getting here, right? And it's like, well, cool, like, just come in and start training again. Like, if you're not getting here, like, all you gotta do is make that determination and make that decision, start showing up again, and then you'll get right back into it. So he did that for a couple weeks. I announced during class that we were doing a lifetime membership deal. He came up, paid for a lifetime membership. So literally went from cancellation to returning as a member to a lifetime membership, just because of that cancellation meeting that we had in place. If that was just where he had to email or phone call us and just say, hey, look, I want to cancel my membership, like, that person's probably gone for a long time, if not forever. So that's really going to help you with that retention, right? It makes it harder for people. You're putting a little bit of friction in there to make them have to schedule that meeting, show up for that meeting, do all those things before they get set up. But what it does is it actually will help that retention, and you can resell people on why they want to be there, why they need that program. So it works really, really well. So again, at least a 60-day cancellation fee, have a exit meeting. And then if you want to sell month-to-month memberships, cool, but do it at a very high rate. Make them pay for that month-to-month thing and give them that option of, a longer term option that's a decreased value, right? So if I was going to do a month-to-month program, I would probably put that somewhere in the $300 a month range, $350, and then I'm going to be selling my normal membership at that like $49, $59 a week, so that $250 range, right? So again, make it very expensive for someone to do that and say, like, cool, we have that option, but if you want to have a better deal, like, boom, you can kind of do that, right? And the other option is bring somebody in under that month-to-month term, let them feel it out, let them see it. And then from there, you can sell them like, hey, you're paying $59 a week right now. Do you want to pay $49 a week? You've been here for 4 or 5 weeks. This is going to help you drop your price down $10 a week, $49 a week, right? So now, like, you're saving them money, but you're getting that commitment from them. So those are just a couple of the strategies that we use to kind of bring people in, get them committed mentally, physically, all of that stuff, keep them around longer, and then, to be able to get that longer lifetime value and that higher lifetime value from each person. I hope that makes sense. I hope that helps. What's up, Liz? What's up, baby cakes? You're good. Hope that helps. And as always, if you want to learn our 5 frameworks to kind of growing your martial arts school, how to bait people, how to attract them in the door, how to sell them, how to send them through your system, and how to deliver a really great product, put 5 in the comments, and we'll get you our 5 frameworks on what every school needs to have, really predictable growth in their business. Contract versus no contract. Everyone should have some sort of contract, even if it's a month-to-month. If it is, make sure you have a couple things on the back side of that to help you extend that value of that student. Hope that helps. Put a thumbs up in the comments if you like this. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next week. Any questions?